Alright, boys. The Final Shape honeymoon phase is over. Finally ready to talk about the future. And some things that I wanted to talk about because there's a lot to talk about. There's some things that I want to again say, take a grain with salt with, because this is to build excitement, to build up your guys' thoughts. So please let me know in the comments. Please also subscribe. We're trying to get 35k. We only have 10-15% of people subscribe, so please be sure to do that. And join our Discord. Let's talk. You and I. Let's go get a cup of Joe. Go get some coffee, and let's talk about the future of Destiny now, shall we? Now, with the Final Shape concluding its Light and Dark saga and looking at what's remotely next for the Destiny game, it is hard to tell. Now, these episodes, which will be one of the main things I'm going to talk about in today's video, going into some stuff with Heresy, because that will be the final, episode of the Final Shape year, and then that will really drag us into the unknown era, if you will. And I have a lot of connections with Marvel for some reason when it comes to this sort of phase that we're in. I feel like Final Shape was our end game, and I think a lot of Guardians can agree with that statement. We finally faced the big bad, the one that's been building up for so long, regardless of some expansions there and there weren't the slightest best. They still were building up some big aftermath event that we would prevail in, and that was the defeat of the Witness in the Pale Heart. And we were able to do that. And a lot of Guardians have stated that Final Shape is amazing, and it indeed is amazing. But Final Shape is one of those catalysts for what comes next. It's not the end of Destiny, it's only the end of the Light and Dark saga. And usually this is where the Marvel sort of vibe that a lot of Guardians are getting, that are very unsure and very scared, but excited about. As you guys know, Marvel had a sort of similar vibe if you went to the movies and you saw Endgame and Infinity War. This, again, their story that was built up with Iron Man back in 2008. They had this huge story that a lot of people just love seeing a lot of these characters like Captain America, Thor, a lot of the comics that a lot of people just overall enjoyed seeing on the big screen. And after that huge story, people were intrigued to see what Marvel was going to do next, what new adventures, what new threats, what new characters we would see. And Phase 4 just happened, and it really brought a huge bad vibe to overall Marvel. And I think that's a huge cause right now that, what is the reason why people view Marvel for what it is, but why people are optimistic about the future. And again, I can say as much as I want in terms of what I think will happen for Destiny's sort of Phase 2, Phase 4, if you will. But again, it's still very, very, thin right now in terms of what we have. And we don't even really know what Bungie is doing. I know Joe Blackburn, a lot of the original people who, started this Destiny story, who helped along the way with big expansions like Forsaken and the Witch Queen, have left the studio, and even the expansion lead that did Final Shape has recently announced that she will be leaving Bungie. So a lot of people are very optimistic and very unsure of the future of Destiny. And that, again, is one of the reasons why we need to just figure out with Bungie, with them, of what we're actually going to get from these episodes. These episodes are really going to drag us into the next saga, if you want to say that at will. We don't know how many episodes we're going to be getting for the rest of Destiny 2. As you guys know, a new game called Destiny 3, quote-unquote Payback, as I think is the code name, is apparently being worked on, and it has been since the Witch Queen. And it looks like it will be something that Bungie will be doing eventually in the future. I don't think Destiny 3 is going to happen anytime soon, but it could be very much well worked on and will be something that we will see in the long-term future. Till then, we are going to see these episodes, these single stories that, again, will not feature really continuity between themselves, but we'll see mysteries and these new threats and cool characters that will eventually go into bigger standalone stories in the future. Bungie is still not really talking about if there's going to be any more expansions for the future. However, I think there will be sort of small, medium-sized content releases sometime in the future. We know Marathon is dropping in 2025, and this is where we're really going into with Heresy. The time that Heresy is about to launch would be sometime around February and March of 2025, and that's going to be sometime where the Marathon release will come into play. And after Heresy, well, we don't really know too much. But we do know that the story with Heresy could be the sort of huge catalyst for us to leave our solar system and join into a brand new solar system in the Destiny universe. And that's what I wanted to get into. With Heresy, this is going to be a very Hived Eldritch themed release. We have Echoes right now facing with the Vex. We got Revenant facing with Vicryl, and I made a video on it if you're curious about it. But Heresy will be the last episode of the Final Shape sort of year 10. Its central plot will be about the third Echo. As you guys know, the Echoes have been a sort of huge overall theme right now that has apparently been released after the Witness's defeat. These Echoes came from the Witness and basically exploded into places across the universe, one dropping on Nessus, and probably one dropping in Vikryl's possession, and then lastly, the one dropping somewhere near the Hive sort of area that we would know of from Destiny 1, known as the Taken Dreadnought. Yes, the Dreadnought from the Taken King will be returning in this episode. We have no idea if it will be releasing like they did in Destiny 1 as its whole destination, or something similar to Season of the Haunted. I think Bungie, with how much they put over advertisement of the Dreadnought, looks to be that they're going to release some small amount to a medium-sized amount of the Dreadnought into Destiny 2. As you guys know, King's Fall is already in Destiny 2, and it looks like the Dreadnought will be the main plot and the main destination within the episode. Tolan will apparently be claiming this Echo, and the Echo will be called Echo of the Deep. As you guys know, with the sort of Echo that apparently the new Vex threat has, is called the Echo of Command. Apparently it's being used to command the Vex, and we really don't know too much about it until we learn more about the episode. We know Vicryl apparently has the Echo of Corruption, and now Tolan, or whoever the third Eldritch Force is, if this is to be true, will claim the Echo of the Deep. These Echoes have immense power, apparently have some paracausal magical type vibe that will apparently control, command, destroy, basically something that's built with both light and dark. So it's very interesting to see what the Tolan, or whoever this third Eldritch Force is, will claim with this Echo. He, or is trying to gain the Witness ability to take. He enters a direct confrontation with Zethar Wrath for control over the Taken army. We know the Hive, we know Zethru's Hive, and we know Loose and Brood will be taking a potent role within the storyline, and it looks like the Taken will also have a big role within the story. We know the Taken has been in the Dreadnought. I don't think it's too far off from this point. I think they've been just there, doing whatever they want to do at this point. But we know Bungie has said that the Dreadnought will maintain and will have a brand new purpose. And it looks like that purpose will have a lot of connectivity to the events of Heresy and what it will bring by the end of the episode. Apparently, Tolan will be taking over the Dreadnought. Eris, Savathun, Drifter, Zethru, Mara, and Tolan will be involved within the episode. A lot of characters that you would see with the Hive sort of release, and it makes very much sense with a lot of them. It's sort of a very big continuity sort of from Season of the Witch. I think a Season of the Witch was giving some sort of hype for what comes next after the Witness dies, and I think it was a big story to see with a lot of those characters that we've seen previously. Now, a major character is supposed to die in this episode. It is unclear right now if Eris or if Mara dies, but it does state that Eris is more likely to die within this episode. We saw when she became sort of a Hive god, if you will, when she was collecting tides within Season of the Witch, what it did to her, and it was very much not the best move on Eris's part, but it looked like it kind of hurt her in a way. She did seem appeased by the end of the season when she just sort of relaxed after, killing Savathun and basically getting rid of Zethu from her throne world. We really haven't seen her much since then. We don't really know if she's been doing anything, but it looks like HERESY will give us that sort of extra vibe, extra more story to what's been going on with her. And this might be the aftermath of what happens if she just goes up against Zethu, or goes up against someone with the Echo. Again, we don't really know how powerful these Echoes truly are until we really see them, and maybe we gotta research more on them. But looking at that, I don't know if anyone can be sort of trusted with these Echoes, because if they can claim immense power, then they can kill basically anyone, except us, because Destiny has to keep going. But again, it's unsure right now. Now, apparently, Savathun would be responsible for her death, but again, Savathun is just a very interesting character, and I can't really name what will happen to her in the future. I don't think we're ever going to be able to kill Savathun because she's so integral to the story now, and she's just sort of a main character at this point. And I think she can just do whatever she wants, and we will be with her on the ride. We can kill her as many times as we want, and Amaro will just swing by and revive her. Again, we have to really crush Amaro for her to be done. Now, it will be the conclusion of the Hive Pathogen story. However, it will build up more of the Pathogen Hive story. As you know, that Bungie has stated that there's going to be a lot of new changes, a lot of things that they want to do with the Hive and the entire story. As you know, the sword logic has been something now that we've known just does not work for the Hive, so there will be a lot of twists and turns within the Hive story that we are ready to see. Apparently, Savathun will live, which makes pretty much the most sense you can get, but Zethu will die. Now, I think Zethu is a great character at what she, is being built up towards. However, I don't feel I did like the delivery of her character that much. We see her in like one voice dialogue or something in a season. We barely have seen her. We don't even know if Bungie has finished what she would actually really look like. We don't even know if she's going to get an expansion just based around her at this point. So, Oryx got one and Savathun got one. We don't even know if they want to be building up to her to have a big, plot or a big villain in the next saga. So it looks like Zethu is just going to be there, and she might just die within this release as Bungie wants to prep for the future. Again, Bungie could definitely do a twist and turn like they did with Forsaken, and they could definitely make it so she is one of the big bads and it was all fake, or they'll just kill her because they don't want to focus on her storyline anymore, as she was pretty big in the Line Dark saga, and they don't know if they want to continue her story now. It'd be really cool to see her and then eventually kill her, but again, I hope Bungie gives her a really cool vibe. Again, really pays attention to what she'll actually look like. They took a lot of work with Savathun. I hope they do the same thing with Zethu. Now, apparently a new dungeon will be releasing in Act 2 of this episode. Makes sense. There's no confirmation on a reprise raid, and there could be a heavy chance that they will not make a reprise raid this year, leading to us getting a brand new dungeon within Revenant and a dungeon within Heresy. As Bungie revealed, there will be 2 dungeons in year 10, so this would be probably the last opportunity for them to do a dungeon, which makes sense. As many guess, we take over the Dreadnought, and looking at that, we would be able to navigate into the next solar system. This is where I want to lead into more of that speculation theory, as Bungie really stated that we will become the navigators with the brand new armor that we're going to get within this episode. The armor that we get might lead us to be able to navigate the Dreadnought after destroying Tolan, taking the Echo, destroying the Echo or just putting it in someone else's possession, and then being taken over to take the Dreadnought and lead us into a new solar system. Again, I know that sounds a bit much, and there's a lot of reasons why it sounds a bit much, because I was not expecting me to say that, but it's being a big popular theory right now, as many believe that with the Dreadnought arriving, there's so much that we can do with it, and with it being with having a brand new purpose that Bungie has stated countless times, I feel like it would be cool to take it over and lead us into the next solar system. Codename Frontiers right now is being popularized to really go outside our solar system to face new threats, and they are already connecting to original places from our old factions and new factions that we're fighting against. For example, the new Dread units that apparently are sort of similar to Roke, obviously. They're Roke's original planet, Lubre, I think it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong. Apparently has a sort of like huge teaser in the game, as in one of the Lord tabs they showed they sent out a droid to Luray. So it would be really cool if the Dreadnought would arrive there and we would see brand new Dread units, and we would see this a new threat in the aftermath of that planet that has been basically destroyed, I think, but maybe there's some things in it. Fundament, Riz, Tora Bottle are big locations right now that people would love to see in the Destiny universe, and they've been mentioned countless times. Frontiers will be the big new leading mark into whatever comes next, and these episodes, apparently Heresy is one of the biggest ones where we will see what Bungie is likely going to do. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.